Hello, we are back on the Silverfox Hustle podcast, and this is the latest episode. This is episode number 92 of the original Silverfox Hustle podcast. Obviously, we have the other episodes on football, and that's the football talk episodes. Now, before we go on, subscribe to all our channels, our YouTube channels, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the works as well. So please go and click on that follow and subscribe button. Now, today we have a special guest in the show. He's a former S-League player with a couple of clubs. I say couple, actually not couple, many clubs in Singapore. Tanjung Pagar, Home United, Woodlands, Balestier Khalsa, and Sengkang Punggol. He played for the Singapore national age groups as well, played in the SEA Games as well, played, I believe, a match for the Singapore national team as well. After retirement, he joined College East as a sports and wellness lecturer, and is still there, by the way. Just met him just now over a cup of coffee, and I see him almost every day. Getting sick of his face. No, I'm kidding. And his coaching journey has certainly flourished with the women's game here in Singapore, and he has achieved tremendous success in the women's game at the varsity level with IT. And again, I can't count the number of titles he's won with IT in terms of the polite as well as the IVP. And currently, he is the head coach of the Geylang International WPL team. Welcome. That was really a mouthful. Now, welcome to the podcast, my friend, and the newly minted coach of the year in the WPL. Welcome to the podcast, Ratna.
Thank you so much, Ashi. Good to see you again. After a few hours. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Now, let's start talking about the awards itself, because I think it's fresh in our heads and in your head as well now. Tell me the days leading up to the awards, and in fact, it was exactly 1 week ago,
Yes,
Fridays.
yeah.
You know, the days leading up to it. Were you confident? Was there a feeling that you would or could win this?
In all honesty, I never really give a thought about it. That wasn't the priority for me. If I win it, I win it. It's a good acknowledgement that my peers, which is the voters, of all the coaches, are all the voters for the award. It is a good acknowledgement. I honestly didn't feel anything. Yeah, maybe on the day itself. Okay, maybe I could. Maybe I won't. I was rooting for Coach Daniel Ong as well. He did well for LCS, again retaining the title 3 years in a row. So that is just purely a bonus for me. Yeah.
It's a good point that you brought out. Now, to the people listening and watching this as well, the winners and the voters were the head coaches and the club captains, I believe. No?
Yes. No, I think I'm not too sure. I forgot about it, but I also know that the coaches were the one voting for each other, and also I think the national team coach.
Right.
So.
And you know what? I think that is a bigger accomplishment coming from your fellow professionals rather than, people who don't exactly know about the game and all. And I think that is a biggest thing. And congratulations again. I just want to ask you, right? What was the feeling like when you won it, when your name was announced?
To be honest, I think I was a bit shocked. I kind of expected it, more or less. It could have been me, or it could be Daniel. I was more of looking forward to the achievement of my players, actually. Farah was nominated Young Player of the Year. She won it. Farhana, I saw, was in the run for Women Player of the Year. So I'm actually more eager for them than myself.
Right.
So that was the emotion at that point of time. Yeah.
Very, very humble of you, Mr. Ratna. I just want to say this, right? And let me confirm, there were no speeches at the awards show.
Oh, no.
Right. So there were no speeches at the awards show. This is the opportunity. This is the speech. Just imagine that you just won the award. You want to thank anyone out there, please do so on this show.
Yeah, of course. I think the one that is the crew behind the backstage crew, the one that's not mentioned mostly. Shout out to two of my, I call them the wise men. Coach Shaul, my assistant coach, and Coach Din, Chi, my goalkeeper coach. So we have a chat group which we call ourselves the Three Wise Men. They are the so-called my pillars. I couldn't do this alone. This belongs equally to them as well. The players, definitely amazing bunch of players that I have. There's not one day that I have to come into the to settle any feuds or any fights within them. They really know how to handle the dressing room. Which also I have to thank my senior players, Miza, Mastura, Farhana, Nat, and those who have been with me for a while. They really make sure that the team is kept in
Yes.
check, and it really helps me a lot when it comes to the field. I think some of the players are even more afraid to face Miza or Mastura rather than me, because they really hold the dressing room together.
Brilliant.
And of course, the Geylang management. It wasn't a good start. It wasn't, to be honest, it was quite messed up all over the place. But I think when we started it, and they were on board, fully on board. They were trying to support as much as they could, as whatever they could. I would say, yeah. And from and also the Ultra Eagles. It's nice to see that finally, the fans of the Ultra Eagles coming down to watch the women's game and stuff, and it could only get better. Yeah.
Well said, Ratna. And I think kudos to Shahul and Dean, the two coaches, the players as well. And as you mentioned, the senior players, they were excellent throughout the season. So, we're going to get back to the women's game a little bit slightly later on, because right now the show is actually about you. Let's take the women's football later on. I just want to go back to you, Ratna, way back when you were a kid and all. What was your influences in terms of playing football, and how did you start playing the game and knowing the game?
I come from a big family. I got youngest of 6, 5 boys and 1 girl. So naturally, the rest of my brothers are into football,
Right.
most of them.
Right.
And in the 80s, I think Liverpool was one of the biggest clubs then. So naturally, I become a Liverpool fan as well, together with them. This is I mentioned it before somewhere. I live near the old National Stadium,
Okay.
which is walking distance away.
Right.
And during Malaysia Cup Day, this is the time where we have opportunity to actually make some money by becoming the one who sell the curry puff.
Really?
Yeah,
You did that?
Yes, I did that. I was one of those people who will go around the stadium shouting, drinks curry puff. Yeah. So that is a form of earning extra pocket
Yeah.
money, and the love of the game grew from there. My time there was Fandi Ahmad, the late Salim Muin, Dito Kijan, and all those Malaysia Cup hero, Lim Tong Hai, Steven Tan. So that actually was my first real love for football. Going there, watching all the Malaysian Cup games. Yeah.
Would you imagine these people listening and watching, from drinks, curry pup, and Popia to winning the Coach of the Year? That is so surreal. It's a wonderful story, actually. And were you always a defender back then? Because you were a defender, obviously, when you played in the league, right?
Right.
Were you always a defender?
I was always a defender or a defensive midfielder.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think that is where my strengths are.
All right.
And I think most of the coaches will always deploy me in these two positions.
What schools did you go to? And you played for your school, obviously.
Yeah, I did play for my school. I come from Upper Serangoon Secondary
Okay.
School. And
No more?
now defunct, I would
Okay,
say. Yeah.
okay.
So my sweetest memory of my secondary school that time was we did a Leicester.
Wow.
Nobody did imagine that we could go all the way into the national B division final, and we won it.
Wow.
That was 1996.
Okay.
So we still have a chat group with all my old friends, and we still talk about it. It is
Right.
like surreal,
So it's the other way around, actually. Leicester followed you guys.
Maybe, yeah. Right. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good story, man. And obviously you played for primary school, secondary school, and whatever, and obviously growing up with your brothers and all, right?
Right.
When did you think football become like serious for you, in terms of, okay, I'm going to play for a club, trying to reach the goal of the national team, maybe?
I have to admit that I was a late bloomer. I'm a late starter. I think I only started playing competitive football other than school is when I got selected for the combined school.
Okay.
Okay, that was in 1996 as well, after we won the division title. So I was called up to play in the combined school.
How old?
That was think 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, 16, 17 years old.
Right.
So right then when I was in the combined team squad, I was the only one without a club. So the rest were all with Tanjung Pagar. Geylang Youth that time was excellent, and so many other clubs. So I carry myself as best as I could, and from there some of the, hey, why don't you play for a club? You
Yep.
know, try it out and stuff. And I actually did. My first so-called official club was Tanjung Pagar United, and I got selected to play in the under 18. And at the same time that year was the birth of the reserve league.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
97, 98,
Yep.
97 I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So which we were playing
Yep,
for
yep.
SF I think. So that was my serious time. I think I could, let's give it a go and see
Right.
how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It was 97 when the reserve league was. That was the first year of the reserve league. That was a wonderful time, actually.
Yes,
It's
yes.
brilliant. It was brilliant, and
Stadiums were full for reserve league game.
and the players were top notch, top quality players.
course.
And
You're
so
not talking about yourself, right? Yeah.
I'm talking about in general as well as my team.
Of course, yeah.
No. Anyway, Tanjung Pagar. So you went for a trial, or they got someone called you up from your days playing in the combined
there,
schools?
There was a trial, and
Alright,
then
okay.
one of my teammates in combined school were already there.
Okay.
And then he said, "Oh, come along, they're looking for players." Yeah.
So the head coach of the team itself was Tuharim Praijan?
Yeah.
And the Prime League coach or the Reserve League coach was?
Same.
Alright, okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, as a young player, and obviously like you said, late bloomer, so-called late bloomer, and you got into the team. What was it like? Tell me, just rattle off the names that were in the Tanjung Pagar side. Because way back in 1996, 97, 98, and from then, and forget about this year, they were a force.
Yeah.
Tell me, rattle off some names, my friend.
Okay. If you guys remember, this is Haris Sumri was in my team.
Right.
Then there was Lim Sun Sing.
Right.
Yeah. And then there was also a young boy who I forgot his name. He's Robert Albert's favorite.
Okay.
And then sometimes the players that come down to play, because the S-League player can come down. Samawira came down.
Right.
Zaid Ahmad was there.
So who were in the top team, as in the A team? Yeah.
The A team. There was Lim Tong Hai, Samawira, Steven Tan, Rudy Kyron, Subramani,
Right.
all the big stars down there.
So did you really, like, when you go into the dressing room sometimes, were you like, wow, these guys are the ones that actually watched in the Malaysia Cup?
Yeah, precisely.
Right.
That was my initial thought. I was on the stadium going round and
Right.
round selling drinks, and I was watching them. And I tell you, this is every boy's dream come true. See, when I got moved up to the senior team, in front of me was Steven Tan, my idol. And then beside me was Lim Tong Hai, Rudy Kyron,
Right.
Somawira, and this was surreal.
Right.
It was really surreal. It really, this is a dream come true for anybody. Yeah.
What was Tohari Paijan like in terms of, was he really hard? Because I've heard stories. I've never been under him, so I don't know, and it's not fair for me to say.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Tohari is, I would say, describe it as someone whose youth nowadays need, because he will bring you to the ground. He will have no nonsense. He don't care where you're from. He don't care how good you are. Character, attitude is one thing that he really emphasized. You must have this good attitude. You must be punctual. He really will shape you. If you have big headed, he will make sure that you know where you come from. It is harsh, but it was good.
Okay.
You will really learn humility under him. You really learn that football is about hard work, because he was an ex-national player. You know how far he have come to become one and stuff. And I think that is sometimes lacking nowadays. Yeah. So I really learned the hard way. He really emphasized a lot on your technical ability as well, which sometimes nowadays we don't see people practicing more after training and stuff. We will spend hours after training or before training to really hone our skills back then.
Some would say the same about Vincent Subramaniam as well.
Yes,
And
of course,
obviously at that same time, Vincent was the coach of
Right.
SCFFC, and some would say probably these are the kind of coaches that you need now for the. Just an afterthought, right? Do you think it will work now with the kids nowadays? Is this thing in my head? I'm thinking.
Right. I seriously think there have to be a mix of
Right.
both soft
Okay.
approach and hard
Okay.
approach. Back then, I don't see anybody will complain to like, let's say TMSG and what. Oh, this coach, this is, I think right then, parents entrust the coaches. Coaches are as good as
Okay.
or teachers. Like, no, you have to whip my son
Yeah.
to whatever it is, whatever that you need to do.
Yeah.
Times are different, but I still think we can bring some part of it. you know.
Right. I'll probably tag this part to TMSG, by the way, if you're watching. And yeah, I think let's go on to another club that I think, you've played for many clubs, but I think these two clubs you got to mention. First was Tanjung Pagar, and the other club that you played for was Home United.
Yep.
And again, the players at that time. And which years were
For Home United, it was in 2002, 2003.
again, who were the players?
Oh, I still remember that. And that was a team full of superstars. We have Paris and Aikma. And then we have Suti, but
Yep.
Indra was
Right.
there. We have Surachai. We have Subramani. We have Edi Iskandar, Aidil Iskandar, Fahmi Abdullah. Ali Imran was there. And Billy Boni, the initial part. So
Was the coach Steve Darby?
yes, the
Right.
coach was Steve
Right.
Darby. I came in when was it Jason With was around. When Jason left, Steve came in.
Yeah. How was Steve like?
Oh, this is something I think not many people will appreciate it if you have not been under him. He is a father figure to a lot of players. He really taught me the value of treating people right. So that is how I learned a lot from him. Is that I don't think anybody will actually come and speak bad about Steve Darby when he's their coach. He really is. He have a soft approach. He really take care of players' interests.
Right.
He treat players like human, like people first, and then you are first human, and then you're a player, and stuff. So Steve really that was very impactful for me when I started coaching.
Yeah.
And I realized that it helps. The players that I deal with, I try to be as empathic as I could. I try to put myself in their position, and it is a ripple effect.
Yeah.
They acknowledge that, they respect you, they realize that you are here for them and stuff, and it shows on the field.
Yeah.
Same thing I think he did at Home United.
Yeah.
Everybody will die for him on the field.
I was just about to ask you about the things that you picked up as a player, then moving on to a coach, and I think you already said one about Steve Darby, and kudos to you, and shout out to Steve Darby as well. If you're watching this, I think that's a great point that you make, and it's so understated now. You talk about the human first, then the player, and you have to treat them the way that you want to be treated as well.
Of course,
I think that's so important. What was the most important advice you received from a coach as a player? As a player, what was the most important, or something very important that you got?
This goes way back to my secondary school time.
Okay.
He's my PE teacher,
Right.
and he's also my school soccer coach.
Yep.
His name is Mr. Kamil. I actually inspired to become PE teacher because of him. He told me this one line that I never forget. If you can juggle a ball, that means you can juggle a book as well. And I was, right then you are 15, 16 years old, you don't think about this thing. He emphasized that you can be a good player and you can be a good student if you want to, if you put your hearts in it and stuff. So that really carried me throughout my studies, my football life and stuff. And this is one amazing weird or amazing experience that I have. When I was in ITE, I played for one final year with Hougang United.
Yep.
And coincidentally, one of my student, sport management student, I don't want to mention his
Right.
name. He's doing well now and stuff. He was my teammate. We played.
Okay.
We played the night before.
Right.
And then I know I have an 8 o'clock class the next day.
Right.
Which was with him. So I was waiting for the class and stuff. He wasn't there.
Okay.
So he wasn't there, or he came late. If I
Right.
can remember, he came late. And then I was asking him, why are you late? Why are
Yeah.
you not here? Oh, I have a game yesterday. I'm tired and stuff. So I tell him, do you remember that I was in the game with you, playing with you as well? So I'm
Your
here-
teammate?
Yeah, he was my teammate. I was here at 8 o'clock. Why can't you be? So these are the things that I think I was privileged to be advising the younger players at that point of time. Then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you are there as well. And
Sorry, by the way, is Mr. Kamil still around?
Oh yes, Mr. Kamil I'm still in pretty much in contact with
Wonderful.
him. Yeah.
Mr. Kamil, shout out to you as well. And I have to say this, you are a legend, my friend, because this line, I haven't heard this before. Seriously, if you can juggle a ball, you can juggle your books.
Yeah. Right.
I will leave it at that because that is absolutely brilliant. Well done, Mr. Kamil. Listen, let's go back. Not go back. Let's go into your coaching bit now. Okay, the transitioning from being a player
Right.
into coaching. You retired and joined IT, obviously, and but no, not really. You were still playing a little bit, and then part time, and then joined IT as well. I want to know how you got into women's coaching. I think there's a story to this as well.
Oh yes, right. When I came in, my first CCA that I was assigned to was archery. So I thought, okay, I'll become Robin Hood.
William Tell.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so then I was in archery and I pretty enjoy it actually. It's a different batch of people
Yeah.
from footballers.
Yes.
So
The dynamics.
dynamics is different. You have a bit more very quiet guys who doing individual sports,
Okay.
sport. And then while I was doing that, again, Coach Shaul that time, who was in charge of the women's football, he left for his overseas studies.
Okay.
And then he was taking charge of the women's team.
Right.
So the position so called is open.
Was vacated,
Was
yeah?
vacated, yeah.
By Mr. Shaul.
By Mr. Shaul,
Okay.
legendary Mr. Shaul. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So, and then again, my bosses say, since you are, naturally,
Yeah.
why don't you take it? And I say, why not? I've been playing, and this is my chance to maybe impart some of the
Yeah.
things that I have been learning. Yep.
And you've never looked back since.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
This was in 2008.
Wow, amazing. 2008, 10 years, another 17 years of women's coaching. Which is a nice seg to my next question, right? You have by now obviously have the experience of coaching the women's game, and of course the boys as well, I'm sure. Tell me the main differences between coaching a girl side and a men's side, a woman's side. What's the difference?
See, back then, when I started coaching, I always thought that, okay, there will be different here and there. Women do different things.
Yeah.
Probably when I just started with my little knowledge that I have in
Right.
coaching and stuff, I tend to so-called minimize. Okay, girls cannot do this, girls cannot do that.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then but eventually, when I grow as a coach, and I've seen more things and stuff, I think there's no difference.
When you say can't do that means what? Can't do certain drills? What is
Certain drills
Right.
can do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
that was the ignorant part
Okay.
of me when I just started.
Right.
So, but as I grew, I learned a lot more things. I really think that there is basically the same.
No, but I'm sure there are differences in terms of I don't know, maybe emotions. I don't know.
Of course. That I'm coming to that part. Okay, intensity maybe.
Yep, of course.
Biologically, but emotion-wise, you'll be surprised to learn that women's player are more open to feedbacks, open
Okay.
to idea that when you impart to them, okay, you can do this better. You can. Unfortunately for us boys, they sometimes are egoistic. Alright, I know. Yeah. So that is
Okay.
surprising. Emotion part, of course, the women players are very passionate about the sport. They put their hearts and soul into it, and they really give everything they have. And sometimes you can see after the game they will be dejected and stuff, but they will come up very quickly. They will recover very quickly and they will go again at it. Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure with all that experience, you obviously know the differences, and I think with that great experience, you've learned a lot to deal with them as well in terms of their feelings and stuff.
Right.
Now, I want to ask you this question. You've won many titles with IT, and like I said at the beginning, I'm sure. Do you know how many titles?
In all honesty, I
You don't,
really
right? So yeah,
forget,
so the reason being because it's too many. I just want to ask you, right? Because you won so many. What keeps you going? Because you might think, somebody might think that he's won 10, for example, and so what? The next one. So what keeps you going?
What keep me going is different batch of player every time.
Okay.
Okay, I will probably work with this player 2 years,
Yep.
at most 3 years,
Yep.
and then there is a different batch of players. Somebody that I can impart certain things. Somebody I can hone their skills, or some I can work with to get them better.
Yeah.
So it is a different batch of player, and I'm who don't like winning. I like winning, and it's always a good round to it. Okay, how many titles you have won and everything else. To me, that is secondary. If I can develop players, I can make them better, character wise, technical wise, tactical wise. Then I think I've done my part as
Yeah.
an educator, as a coach. I want them to be better when they leave.
Right.
And I'm happy to say that some of the players that I've worked with, they move on to be great club players, great national team players, and you know, that is only the good. It works well for the women's football.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I want to touch on this as well, because I get this sometimes. You know, people say, you've got the best of the lot playing for IT, for the boys, right? And I get that a lot, you know, and I'll reserve what are my opinions. So I want to ask you this as well. Is it as easy as people think? Because people will tell you that, you've got all the
Yeah.
best of the lot playing for IT.
We always get that.
Yeah. So what do you have to say about that?
I don't want to say any explicit here, but no, it is not. It is not. The polys are catching up. Players from IT now are getting better. They will eventually move up to
Right.
to the polys,
Right.
And even universities, which is a good thing.
Yep.
And these are the players that have played for me,
Yeah.
and now is playing for the other team.
Right.
So you tell me that it's easy, it gets easier? No, it doesn't get easier. Everybody is, you know, like LCS. You know, they have been winning for 3 years. Everybody's gunning for them right now.
Right.
Same like IT or even RP. RP has a good track record as well. So when you are there,
Yeah.
everybody will try to get better to be close to you. And I think most of the polys have closed that gap.
Yeah.
It is always a difficult thing to win.
Yeah, and listen, and my opinion is always, you know, it's easy to talk, but
Yeah.
you know, when you have to deal with 25 different players,
Of course, yeah.
it's a different ball game altogether. So again, you know, well done. I want to speak about the women's national team. I think you had a stint quite a bit, a few months, or I don't know how long it was for, as the national assistant coach for the national team. What was the experience like, and how long was it for?
I think I worked with them since 2000. Okay, I got invited in 2019.
Right, okay.
To assist Coach Melissa.
Yes.
In the AFF. So I was assisting her. I was also taking the under 19 team.
Yeah.
That was my first experience in the AFF tournament in Bangkok. So and then after Coach Mel left, Stefan came in. Coach Stefan
Yep.
came in, and I worked with him as well in the assistant coach. We played in the AFF and the SEA Games.
Yeah.
I think we had a historic first win after 19 years.
Yeah.
Right, that was against, I think, Laos or Cambodia. Yep. So that was a really remarkable experience for me. Going from school, club,
Yes.
and all the way to the
Yes.
highest level, that is eye opener. Intensity is different. Looking at all the other our neighboring countries, how amazing their players are, like Vietnam, Thailand, or even the Philippines now.
Yeah.
And that was a very good learning experience for me.
I think you're the right person for me to ask as well, right? How far are we compared to, you talk about the levels. Let's not forget about the world level, right? Let's talk about Southeast Asian level. How far are we? And then Asian level, how far are we?
Right. If you talk about Asian level, Japan, Korea,
Yeah.
China, they are
Up there.
right? I think. But if you talking about Southeast Asian level, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, Myanmar. These are the top 4 that has really improved. Myanmar especially, and Philippines went to the World Cup. Right. So, I honestly think that if you give the right resources, if you give the right amount of time spent on players development overseas, local, and you create such a good infrastructure for local players to develop themselves, make everything goes the intensity higher, good level of playing and stuff, we will somehow get there as well, just behind them. Right now, I think we're on par with Malaysia. Indonesia, I don't think we fall too far back
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
And then Cambodia and Laos, I think we could
Okay.
do better than them.
We will talk a little bit about the trying to get this done in terms of your ideas on the structure and all a little bit later. But yeah, I'm sure the levels are, it's huge in terms of Asia and then obviously the world, right?
course.
But I just want to ask you, in your experience playing in on coaching these national team sides, right? What are I'm talking about players, player wise. What are we lacking in terms of national team games?
Right.
Is it intensity? Is it physicality? Is it size? What is it?
Right. One thing is, I think we don't have the players all throughout the season, all throughout the years. All right. Indonesia, for example, what I heard from the last qualifier or the last competition they have 1 month or 2 months
Okay,
of
okay.
training together.
Okay.
Okay. It's difficult for some of our players.
Okay.
They are student. They have their work. They have so many other things, and they only train maybe 2-3 times a
Right.
week as together as a national
Okay.
team. We have yet to reach a point where like the men's football. All right, 1 week before tournament, everybody come in, and then they understood that because most of the men's players are professional.
Yes.
We haven't had any professional league yet.
Right.
So this is one of the thing that is very difficult to really get everybody together.
Yeah.
The clubs will have to say, I want my players here and there. So club versus national tussle is ongoing all the time, but we have to come to a common ground for the bigger picture. That is one, and I think the resources, of course, right? It is to me it is a wholesome thing. You
Okay.
can't even concentrate on one. Let's say you want to put money in the national team and stuff,
Right.
but the rest of the other clubs
Okay.
are struggling.
Yep.
So you have to do it concurrently or go from the bottom.
Right.
I'm happy to say that there are more girls playing football nowadays. I had a trial for Geylang, and I have last year I had 50 to 60 people, and they are young girls, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
And it's a good reflection of how much the women's football have impacted their life, and I'm hoping for more and more to come. We have to start younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I feel as well, and you spoke about just a little bit, and two things I picked out was number one was the preparation part towards the national team games. That's one, and the other thing is of course development with players younger and all. And listen, I think I've seen some very very good players, and obviously it's the development, right? The pathway of how they are going to then develop the structure, and I think that's key as well. Let's move to your club coaching and the women's game in general, and this is where we can talk about a little bit further on trying to develop the game now. The club coaching part, right? Last you won the award for last season, which is 2024, and Geylang International finished third. And I'm looking at the table right now, right? And the previous year, Geylang finished in second last with 6 points. And obviously, last year there was a huge improvement. 31 points, and you finished third, behind the likes of Lion City Sailors, obviously champions, and Albrechts, who were a close second with 42 points, which is 1 point away from LCS. Tell me about the season that you had, because that is a huge improvement from what last was it, and to where you got. So obviously that's why you won the and kudos to you. But what was it? What was the experience like last season with the Geylang girls?
Last season, again, I think for every other team or every other clubs, right? Players is the pillars of your team.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to have very very talented, decent players that come from everywhere and say, Coach, I want to do this. Let's.
Right.
I of course I put the word around. I'm moving to Geylang, and I have so-called player agents. Players are agents. Okay, let's come together. You want to do this. You want to do that, and amazingly, I have familiar faces that I've worked with before, and who trust that I could, deliver and trust me enough to play with me again. So I have to convince the club that look, I have a bunch of very talented players coming in, and I'm sure we will do better than last season. The previous season, I don't want to write anybody down or write off anybody down, but I think it was very last minute to
Okay.
prepare for a team, and that's why they were scampering for players and stuff. But I was fortunate enough to have a group of players that
Yeah.
is ready to play. So that alone actually helped us to go all the way up in the table, and even though we lost our first two games, it was the first two games against Haugang and LB-Rex. But then when we start to win,
Yeah.
you see I know that they can go all the way to finish as high as they could. Yeah.
Right. And listen, that is the art of coaching as well. You know, you look at the season, it's just 16 games long, and then, you know, obviously you start the season not so good, losing the first two games. You must be thinking, the players must be thinking, oh, what have I got myself into, you know, and that kind of thing. And that's where you need to be a very, very good coach to man manage, lady manage, I would say, and you know, manage the team with trainings and all. So it's a difficult thing, and it's about juggling a lot of stuff as well. So again, the work that you've put in, congratulations to you, Dean, as well, I think, and Shaul. I want to talk about the development part now, right? And I'm just looking at the table
Right.
last season's table, and I had to take a second look and also a third look because I couldn't believe my eyes what I just saw, right? Or I saw. We've got a team who's got a goal difference of minus 107. And listen, if you're listening to this and you're watching this as well, I'm not kidding you. It's minus 107 in 16 games. And I'm thinking, how do you do that? How do you get to that position? So I'm just looking at the table again. It's the extremes.
Right.
You know, the first three maybe, and even when you got third, and yeah, the third and fourth was quite close, and then okay, the fifth was quite close, and then it's a gap all the way to the bottom, and the extremes were ridiculous. And when you say 107 goals, goal difference, that's ridiculous.
Right.
That's like kind of like you're losing every game 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 zeros. What's the problem?
I can't speak for
Yeah.
whoever that's managing the team and stuff, but I think I have mentioned this before. If you are participating just for the sake of participating, you pick any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Oh, we have a team, and you give them jersey, you play. I think this is what you get, right? There should be effort.
Yeah.
There should be a lot of passion for this. Women's football is no longer come from a team. I give you jersey, play for passion. We have passed that.
Yep.
We have grown out of that.
Yep.
So it is a very good lesson. You know, I hope they have transitioned into a better preparation. I believe so.
Yeah.
Because that's the word on the ground is.
Right.
That should be a lesson to any other club that's wanting to have.
Yeah.
Wanting to promote women's football. Don't just have women's football because it's one of the obligation for AFC that, you know, your club have to have a women's football. You need to put in effort. You need to put in all the works. You need to put in, sorry to say this, the financial. You need to put all the infrastructure support given, and then you will.
Yeah.
It will not bear fruit.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
1 year, 2 year, you will see the fruit. You will see the result.
Yeah,
that is something that we should focus on.
You're so right, because just don't do things for the sake of doing it. You know, I think that's so key, and you're right in terms of we are just already moving forward past that stage where you know, hey, let's come down and let's play a game of football. It's not. You have to be better than that, and I think. If we kind of like be like that, you're gonna be stuck in a rut as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, it's a vicious circle. So you know, I'm just looking at that as well, and we talk about the women's game here, and we have some say we have more of a chance of qualifying for the World Cup. I'm talking about the ladies team.
Yeah.
As compared to the men, right? And obviously, we're not disrespecting the men because we do know that's so tough for the men's side, right? And I'm not saying it's easy for the women's side, but I'm saying, is there a more realistic chance?
Of course. Again, this is been spoken to by many people.
Okay.
Right? We have a clearer pathway,
Okay.
clearer chance.
Okay.
To qualify. Let's not talk about World Cup yet.
Okay.
Asian Cup.
Yes,
maybe.
yes.
The route that we have is easier than the men's have. Right? Again, no disrespect to the men's football. They have it tough. But here I believe if we invest in women's football properly, with all the supports given and stuff, and all the positive things impact on that have been happening, we should ride on it.
Right.
You know, we have players playing overseas now, Putri, Denal, the IMG girls, the scholarship, UTR scholarship and stuff. More and more players are playing.
Yeah.
And this will only be, you will only see the result in a couple of years, or even the next couple 1-2 years. When
Right.
they come back, they'll be better players and stuff, and it will bode well for the national team.
Right.
You know? So these are the things that we need to be doing, and not only players, coaches. You have to send all these coaches out. You know, we have so many MOUs with so many different things, and when you have this in your so-called the system, ecosystem, everybody is trying to get better, following the ways of Japanese, the Koreans, or all the European countries. We can only get better.
Right. And there's so many things going on, and I wanted to ask you, what are the challenges facing the women's football going forward? And I think you named a few, right? Let's just summarize things a little bit, because so that's easy for everyone listening and as well, right? What do we do? Let's say, for starters, what do we do? Do we get our structure right? Do we need more people who are expert in the women's game, for example, to be and doing the right things in the right roles?
Definitely. Getting the expert people who have been there, running women's football,
Right.
knowing how women's football at a high level is like, you know, and getting them to impart the knowledge
Right.
to whoever that is running
Right.
the system now on the ground. That is one. Again, I'm not shy to talk about money.
Right.
Throw the money, you know, just I wouldn't say splurge, but whatever that we are getting now is not near enough for anything. Players are getting $50, $100 for transport allowance and stuff. Players who feel appreciated, who feels that, okay, this is part of some income that I can get. Will show the difference in the field, and eventually, if you can make it into a semi-pro model, why not? You know? And the resources. Okay, this is not a Singapore problem. Unfortunately, this is a worldwide problem. The resources for women's football is always little, but other countries have moved on, have tried to near the gap, to close the gap and stuff, and I think we should jump in the bandwagon and join them as well. All right, and you will see result. Philippines is one very good example. When I was in the AFF in 2019, they were just like us, the level, or even below us. They were they were whipped by other nations and stuff. But they are in the World Cup 10 years later, less than 10 years later.
Wow.
So that is a amazing example, you know. So
you're right, and it can be done. And again, the way Ratna has spoken, so passionate as well about the game and trying to improve. And again, the if you are watching this, the authorities as well, it is not a criticism. It's just it is what it is, you know, in terms of trying to move the game forward. And I think there is an avenue for that to happen here, especially the women's football. You know, and obviously we can go on talking for 2 hours, and you know, we love the game so much, and that's why we're passionate, we're talking about it. Right now, before we leave, and you know, I think it has been a very good conversation. We had a conversation for about 40 minutes or so, right? Yeah, quick fire questions. I've got about 10 questions.
Damn. Okay.
You've got to answer, you know, to the best of your abilities as quickly as possible. Very easy questions. Some it probably was related from the questions that I asked you before, right? So the first one is a very easy one, right? Easy peasy. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Your favorite food and drink?
Okay. I'm a noodle person.
Okay.
Teh ice lemon.
Right.
Teh ice limau.
So any noodles, right?
Any noodles, yeah.
Now, when you were playing in the Singapore League, as league it was called then, who was the biggest nightmare in terms of marking? Who you had to mark? You think, guy, this is shit.
Right. Well, Alex is one of them.
Alex Jurich.
He is a monster. And then Kiatisak. Kiatisak was an amazing player. He was with SCF. These two are
Right. Biggest influence in coaching? Your biggest influence?
Coaching style, coaching method.
Anything, up to you. Someone.
I think Steve Darby will have to be one of them. Yep.
Brilliant. Favorite coach of all time? It could be anything. Can be the men's football, anything.
Mourinho. Yeah.
Jose Mourinho?
I'm a Mourinho fan. Yeah.
Lovely. Favorite Liverpool player of all time?
Okay. This is tough, but I'll go with Gerrard.
Stevie Gerrard, right. Your biggest disappointment in coaching?
This. I don't think I have any.
Really?
Even if I lost, I try to be positive about it and get something out of it. Yeah.
Well said. The biggest achievement in coaching?
Well, other than the polites and IVPs, I think this third position that I got is one of the biggest.
Lovely.
The previous time was second in WNL with Simi United, and also won the Coach of the Year in WNL as well.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that as well. So you are 2 times a coach winner of the year. Yeah, Coach of the Year, that is. Well done. Now, your pet peeve or something you dislike most when you're coaching the ladies? Can be anything. The smallest of things.
Right. I think when they first start with me, they don't realize that this is my pet peeve. They like to be chatting when I'm talking. Yeah, they are poking each other and stuff.
Right.
So I'm talking here. Come on, ladies. And then when I start to scream and stuff, then they understand. I mean business. Yeah.
But I don't think that's a woman's thing. It's
the man. It's everybody's
everyone,
thing.
Yeah. But okay, that's a pet peeve. Well done. If there was one thing you can change about the WPL, what would it be? Just one thing. Something that you would change.
Proper playing field. I think we should be playing in better stadiums. No disrespect. I know how difficult it is, the facilities wise, but we can do better.
And not in paddy fields, yeah?
Yeah.
You woke up in an island all alone. You have a choice of someone to be with. Who would it be? Minus your wife, please. I take that away from you.
Damn, this is hard. How long am I supposed to be there for?
That's not an option. You just woke up and you said, oh damn, I'm alone here.
Damn. Okay.
Can be anyone.
I would say one person.
Yeah, one person.
I need to be with my daughter, I think.
Lovely. Yeah. What's her name, by the way?
Sophia.
Right. Well done. Right, we are almost there, Ratna, and I just want to ask you, right, where does Ratna Suffian go from here, right? Okay, let's see. You've played the game professionally. You're doing well, as in, in your career in terms of teaching at ITE. You are coaching the Geylang International Women's team. You won the Coach of the Year. You're winning titles with the ITE team. Where do you go from here? What's up next?
Wow, this is tough for me. Yeah, but when you're playing, right, your aspiration will be like, I want to play for the national team one day, right? So when you're coaching, I don't think it's wrong for me to say that I wish I want to be the national coach of our country one day. That is it is not gonna happen now. It could happen later and stuff. So I'm still trying to develop myself as a coach, but that definitely is an aspiration. Yeah.
It could be sooner than later, my friend. And at the time of recording, if you guys are watching and listening, and there could be something on in the next few weeks or so, and we will not talk about it. But even at the point of release of this podcast, I don't think it will be announced as well. So yeah. Anyway, good luck for that. I just want to ask you as well, any advice for any young girls, women coming up, trying to take up the sport? Because I think this is so important, right? Because let's say I'm a mother, I'm a dad, I want to send my kids to my girl to an academy, or what is the advice you would give to the girl coming up?
I think play as much as you can. Play, that is one. Develop good characters, because I always believe character beats talent every single time. The reflection of your behavior, you can go far. You can be as talented as possible, but you must be a good person as well.
Yeah.
And then everything else will fall in place. For parents who think that women's football is you don't waste your time, think again, because there are so many successful players who have juggled both their studies and soccer and are successful in their field and are still playing football. So it is a good sport to be in. Yeah.
Well said, Ratna. And I think Ratna just stole my tagline: the hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. It beats. You're right. Talent, it's there, but you got to work at it. You've got to hustle. You got to and I think that's very, very important. Ratna Suffian, thank you so much for being in my latest episode of the Silverfox Hustle podcast. congratulations again to
Thank
you, to
Thank
your
you so
team,
much, yeah.
to the club players. I'm going to talk to one of your players soon as well in the next few episodes.
That's
So
great.
yeah, and wish you the best and good luck for the next few weeks, months,
Thank you.
years.
Thank you, Sasi.
And we will see you again, Ratna, and see you in school again, Ratna.
Alright.
So if you're listening to this, this has been the latest episode of the Silverfox Hustle podcast. Don't forget, if you're watching YouTube now, just click on the subscribe button just below there. Just click on it. Follow button. We are out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the works. Till the next time, the hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Cheers.
Cheers.